Episode 3 Act 1 is on the horizon, and with all of the new agent changes, some will rise to the top while others slip into irrelevancy. Today, we're going to give you guys 5 agents that we predict won't do very well, and that you would probably want to avoid at the start of Episode 3 Act 1. What's going on, ProGuides family? It's your host, Sergeant Frost, and today we have a list of the 5 worst agents heading into Episode 3. This list is based off the changes we will see in patch 3.01, so these agents could become worse or better moving forward into the episode. With that being said, let's hop right into the video. As a disclaimer, do know that these agents aren't completely out of the race yet. Despite most of these agents being hit with big nerfs or other aspects that outshadow them in some way, none of these are so bad that you cannot become proficient and find value with them. However, do know that for these agents, it might become considerably harder for them to perform in their intended role, or that with price changes, it could totally affect your economy in ways that we don't fully understand. As such, the goal here is to expand on some of the biggest losers of this coming update. We will talk about what hurts them or causes them to fall so low in the rankings. RAZE is not doing so well to start off Episode 3. Riot has hit RAZE with substantial price increases for several of her key abilities that many people thought were unnecessary. RAZE is getting her Boombot price increase from 200 to 400 credits, and her ultimate point cost is increasing from 7 to 8 points. If you are a player that has been around since beta, you would remember the days when RAZE's Showstopper only costed 6 points, so this is a pretty substantial jump from the earlier versions of RAZE. In pro play, RAZE is currently not a high pick rate agent, and I think we all know why. She is only a niche pick on bind because her Boombot allows her to clear out hookah, U-Haul, and showers, along with other tight spaces without putting herself in danger. However, the changes in price will make her Boombot become much more expensive, and that in turn makes investments into a round much more hefty if a RAZE wants to use her Boombot for control. Outside of being a niche meta pick for that map, RAZE has fallen out of the pro meta as the main duelist for quite some time now. The main reason RAZE will struggle in Episode 3 is because she was already being overshadowed by the other duelists, and now Riot is doubling down on making her worse. RAZE doesn't have flashes or a way to heal herself in game, and over time this has made her slip down the duelist rankings because the other duelists such as Reyna, Phoenix, and Jett could do so much more than her. However, this isn't necessarily a horrible change, as the community has been kind of against damage dealing type of agents like RAZE for some time now. Maybe it's time to start toning down that side of Valorant. RAZE's troubles don't stop there though. With the introduction of KO, we have a new agent that also has grenades, and he has flashes to go along with them as well. RAZE is quickly fading into irrelevancy as a duelist agent, and it's not because of her own doing. It's mainly because as time goes on and as the game progresses, RAZE is being outclassed by new and old agents alike. I think not all hope is lost for RAZE though. Hopefully Riot can find a way to buff her and make her more competitive with the other duelists in game. She does have a clear purpose as an agent, but it unfortunately comes as a one-dimensional and arguably unhealthy game plan. I think this might give Riot a chance to take a deeper look at the damage dealing mechanics in game and come up with some solutions to balance RAZE without making her feel oppressive in some situations. With the start of Episode 3 on the horizon, now is the perfect time to get ahead of the competition and train yourself to become the best player you can be today. If you are interested in getting some specialized help to allow you to achieve those goals, head over to our website ProGuides.com. We have Radiant and Immortal level coaches who are more than happy to lend you a helping hand with improving your gameplay as fast and efficiently as possible. We also have courses written by pro players Sentinels 10s and Team Liquid Scream that will teach you the fundamentals of Valorant and how to master the duelist class. If any of this interests you, head over to ProGuides.com to get a head start on improving today. Next up on this list is ASTRA, and the Cosmic Controller is getting hit with some significant price changes and ability cooldown changes in Episode 3. The main reason she'll struggle this episode is because of the nerf to her cooldowns on her abilities. Her Gravity Well and Nova Pulse cooldowns are being doubled and going up from 12 seconds to 25 seconds. This means that if an ASTRA is being liberal with using her abilities in game, she is going to be out of luck because it will take quite some time before she gets to use her abilities again. This mainly nerfs defensive ASTRA, because many players would pre-place stars down in common traffic areas, and she would rotate her abilities in the same area to prevent attackers from pushing in. Now with this cooldown increase, there will be a bigger opportunity to get past her utility because the extra 13 seconds is a long time for her to not use her abilities. The main thing players complained about with ASTRA was that there was little to no opportunity to punish her in between using her abilities and smokes, and this cooldown increase definitely will give her some counterplay to get around them. Also on the agenda for ASTRA is a rework for how her star system works. ASTRA stars now cost 150 credits per star instead of 200, but she will only start each round with 1 free star instead of 2. One of the reasons ASTRA was so oppressive is because the 2 free stars she was given allowed for her to easily get value out of a round with little economic investment. Only being granted 1 star at the beginning of the round means she now needs to invest more money per round if ASTRA wants to get access to anywhere from 2 to 4 stars each round. If you do the math, the old ASTRA had 2 stars for free. She could get 3 for 200 credits, 4 for 400 credits, and 5 for 600 credits. With the new changes to her stars cost, 2 stars will cost 150, 3 stars will cost 300, 4 will cost 450, and 5 will cost 600. So despite the changes not making her stars cost more on the upper end, it definitely will affect the smaller investments and eco rounds. On top of all of these changes, ASTRA is a very hard agent to play and she is not very beginner friendly. With the changes that have been made to her cooldowns, this could only make it harder for people to find the proper value out of her as an agent. In the end, this makes her a much harder agent to pick up and master, and that is not a good thing if she wants to keep her place at the top of the meta. Phoenix is on this list today because he finally has some formidable competition in-game. Now that KO is being released, Phoenix will need to fight hard in order to keep his spot in the game's meta. KO has an advantage over him mainly because his flashes are much better and easier to use and get value with than Phoenix flashes. On top of that, KO can act as an entry fragger if necessary, and his ability set is very versatile. He could very easily just do the same job as Phoenix can by mollying an area, flashing in with a right click, and also he has the added bonus of a suppression. Phoenix can barely do half of that because his molly and flashes are not nearly as formidable or versatile as KO's utility is. On top of that, Phoenix and KO have similar ultimates that function in different ways but strive to achieve the same goal. Phoenix's ult gives him a free life that he can use aggressively, and as soon as he dies, he's teleported back to his original ult spot. KO has an ultimate that functions similarly, but he has to get picked up. However, this is counteracted by KO having suppression waves on his ultimate, while also getting a gunfire buff like the stim beacon. One other thing to note is that since KO is so powerful and will most likely be a top tier meta pick, KO's utility will be much better to support a team with mobility, as the suppression window opens up a lot of room for rushing down into a site. Phoenix is one of the few agents that lack mobility as a duelist, and this could see him being a weak pairing with KO due to not being empowered enough by KO's initiator abilities. While I don't think Phoenix will disappear completely from the game in episode 3, he certainly is on the losing end of KO's release, especially considering how KO is definitely going to be meta, and that he can do Phoenix's job almost just as well as Phoenix can. This leads us to our question of the day. Do you think the hype surrounding KO's release is real, or is he actually not that strong? Personally, I think that KO is going to completely change the game, and he's going to have a huge impact on how we approach each round of Valorant. Also, he seems to be strong enough as an agent to be a must pick on every single team comp, so I totally buy into the hype. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Alright, let's hop right back into the video. Next up on the list is Brimstone, and I think his situation won't be getting any better in episode 3. Brimstone was starting to be overshadowed by the likes of ASTRA and Viper in episode 2. This seems to still be the case moving forward into episode 3, especially now that we know his mollies are being nerfed. The only good part of Brimstone's kit that was allowing him to be picked in the meta is now a lesser version of what it once was. For example, Team Fnatic from Europe often ran Brimstone on the map Bind because of the post-plant molly lineups he had. While Brimstone didn't see much play in episode 2 because of the other controllers, he did find a way to sneak himself into team comps because of how useful his molly and ultimate were in post-plant situations. Another thing to note is that since KO is being released, and the post-plant meta might have a lot more counterplay than before, Brimstone's post-plant stalling capabilities might actually not be good enough anymore, since they are finding ways to prevent him from being useful in a specific niche role as a controller. That's why for the future, Brimstone will need several big buffs or tweaks if he ever wants to reach the top spot in the controller role ever again. And I hope that down the road, Riot will give him those buffs that he needs. But until then, it looks like Brimstone will be at the bottom of the barrel for the time being. Wrapping up the video, we have YORU, and if you have played the game in episode 2, you'll understand why he's down here. Not only does YORU need a full-on rework to be viable, the devs also gave him a nerf to his flashes in this patch as well. While this nerf wasn't directed at YORU directly because all the flashes in the game got a price increase, this nerf to his flashes is not helping his case in game at all. YORU needs his fake out and ultimate to be reworked into different abilities if he truly wants to find a place in the game's meta. Right now as it stands, his kit doesn't function like Riot intended, mostly because he can't pull off his role in game, which is to be an outplay agent that can work on his own without the help of his team. With that being said, I think after Riot gives us a proper rework for YORU, which they have confirmed to be coming up in the future, YORU will finally find his niche role he fits into in game, and he will finally become a contributing member of society inside of the Valorant agents cast. But until that rework comes, he is an agent that most people will consider a troll pick in your games. So if you're looking to get ahead in episode 3 and do well at the start of the ranked season, we would suggest that you avoid YORU for the time being until his viability is further understood, or up until when Riot reworks him. As of right now, there is little value in taking such a risky pick into games, especially considering his current track record of being the worst agent in Valorant. Because of that, YORU is unfortunately still sitting at the very bottom of the agent meta until further notice. Although we have had a lot of awesome changes coming up in this new episode, it is unfortunate to see some unexpected faces falling down from the top of the agent meta. However, I'm sure that once we have a better idea of how the agent meta is as we go along in episode 3, some of these picks will definitely change. And maybe we can also see the anticipated complete YORU rework we've all been waiting for. Well guys, that's all we have for the 5 worst agents heading into episode 3. If you liked the video, please be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the content. We upload new videos just like this one every single day, and the best way to stay notified of that is by ringing that notification bell. Don't forget to check out our website ProGuides.com to gain some access to some truly amazing coaching. This has been your host Sergeant Frost, and I will see you all in the next video.